Okay, we ready?
I got it. So where am I supposed to sit? Who's missing? You're supposed to sit closer to us. Oh, good.
I would like to call this evening's meeting to order. If you'd all please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You just felt like you were at a concert, huh?
Yeah.
Little feedback. This council meeting is rocking. Rock and roll.
Well, I have been informed this evening that they have been doing some work on the sound system here in council chambers. So, can everybody hear me at this point? Is there anybody that cannot hear me? Okay. Actually, that's probably not a fair question, because if you can't hear me, you won't know to raise your hand. If at some time you can't hear us, just raise your hand so we know, because if we don't know that you guys can't hear, then we don't know that it needs to be tweaked. So the first item on tonight's agenda is the consent agenda, which is a group of items to be acted upon with a single motion and vote. It's designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by the council. I will ask prior to the vote if a citizen or a council member wishes to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda for discussion, and at that time you may express your desire that it be set aside. The items on tonight's consent agenda include the approval of the work session regular meeting minutes of March the 27th, 2018, and the special meeting of April the 3rd, 2018, approval of the expenditure vouchers for April 10th, 2018, approval of a renewal 3.2% beer retail liquor license for the Pizza Hut, approval of a special event permit for the Cortez Area Chamber of Commerce, which would be business after hours, which on April the 12th will be held at United Country Blue Sky Homes and Land, which is located on Main Street. Approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for the Conquistador Golf Course. So at this time, is there anybody on council or in the audience that would like to have any of these items set aside? All right, in that case, may I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented with the amount of $71,826.07.
Second.
Archibald?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Keel?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
McLaughlin?
Aye.
Sheep?
Aye. All right. The first item of business is presentation is the recognition of National Service Proclamation, and give me just a second here to pull this up. Unfortunately, the individuals that will be receiving the proclamation could not be here this evening.
In Your Honor, I think they are here.
Oh, are you here? Okay, well, okay, jeez. The last I had heard, all right. Thank you for coming. This proclamation is in recognition of national service, whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges, and whereas the nation's cities are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet their needs, and whereas national service expands economic opportunity by creating more sustainable, resilient communities and providing resilient communities and providing education, career skills, and leadership abilities for those who serve. And whereas AmeriCorps and Senior Corps participants serve in more than 50,000 locations across the country, bolstering the civic, neighborhood, and faith-based organizations that are so vital to our economic and social well-being. And whereas national service participants increase the impact of the organizations they serve both through their direct service and by managing millions of additional volunteers. And National Service represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in community solutions, and it leverages non-federal resources to strengthen community impact and increase the return on taxpayer dollars. Now, therefore, I, Karen W. Sheik, Mayor of the City of Cortez, do hereby encourage residents to recognize the positive impact of National Service in our community, to thank those who serve, and to find ways to give back to their communities on this 10th day of April 2018. Actually, National Service Day was April the 3rd, but we had some other things on our plate at that time. So if you'd like to come up, if you have a few words that you'd like to share, or just look, we have the paper here, so she can take a picture of the award. Yes, either one of those.
Hello everyone, my name is Ellen Underwood and I serve with the Montezuma School to Farm project. What we do, if you're not familiar with the program, is we teach garden classes to students in Cortez as well as Mancos and Dolores. And myself, Ellen, and Marissa here, we teach at all the Cortez elementary schools, K through 5th grade, and it is truly like the most inspiring work. Our students are developing, passions for career opportunities and bringing home recipes and tasting ideas, because we do tastings in all of our classes to get students to try vegetables. And so many of them think it's really awesome, and they go home to their parents and like, I just learned about this thing called kale chips, and I want to make it with you guys. So we really work on not only providing valuable education, but also things that students can take home to their lives and really try to empower them. So I moved here from Pennsylvania, and I just really believe in this program and support service very deeply, and I'm glad you're all here to help celebrate that. And if there's any way that you would like to contribute and volunteer with our organization, please feel free to come talk to us.
Whereabouts in Pennsylvania? Where in Pennsylvania?
I'm from like Reading, Allentown area near Philadelphia.
Just south of there.
What about your hair?
Okay. All right, at this time, if there is anybody in the audience that would like to come forward and address council, this is your opportunity. Share with us your name and address, please.
My name's Alan Klein. I live at 206 Lakeside Drive in Cortez. And I'm here just because I became aware of a small issue. Our community lost the ability recently to sell tickets to the tours at Mesa Verde National Park. And I'm saddened that nobody's making this a bigger topic or issue, that we don't have that capability. I happen to be doing cameras at the Welcome Center for Crow Canyon, and they go, we'd love to sell tickets. And I thought, that's odd, I didn't think you wanted to. That's kind of what I had heard, and they went, no, we want to sell them. And then I checked with the Park Service, and they said, well, we're not really set up to handle it in more than one location.
Well,
So,
actually, I'm going to have defer to Shane on this because
Your Honor, I'd just say, Alan, I'm happy to talk to you offline about it. We have reached out to the park. The city has requested the Crow Canyon be able to sell, and we were told basically from the park that logistically, it would be tough for them to do that this year.
I think we need more pressure.
Well, sure. So the mayor and I
Pressure has been applied.
were Mutt and Jeff, and but
Which
they
one's
did
Mutt
agree.
and which one's Jeff?
Well, you were whichever one is the the softer kind of version of that. I don't know. But we were basically set up to meet with Cliff Spencer June 1st. I've got a meeting set up with him then, and so we're just going to start that conversation of what it'll take to get Crow Canyon certified and basically have them start selling tickets next year. It's not going to happen this season. I think the mayor and I were extremely adamant that we would love to see ticket sales continue. I'll tell you that this is a conversation we started with the park last fall, and we just couldn't make it happen. So we are disappointed. Last year we sold 26,000 tickets out of this Welcome Center. So clearly we're meeting a big need, and I'm not sure where those 26,000 people, if they just have to go to the park now and wait in line or what. Personally, I'm really frustrated by it, but I'll tell you, we were as proactive as we could be on the city standpoint to try to keep it going, and we couldn't get there. So, if you want to call your national park, go ahead. But
I'm calling.
All right.
Just let me emphasize this. A lot of the properties in town referred their guests to the Welcome Center to buy their tickets on their way to the park, or that was their first stop. And I intimately know this from a lot of the front desk staff. And I used to supervise that portion of the operation when we had the Economic Development Council. We would not have ever let this happen, that our community is now having to watch Durango sell tickets.
Alan, let me stop you just a minute here, because it's almost as though you're implying that had you been in charge, that this never would have happened. The city did everything they possibly could to get them to stay. I will tell you from conversations with a variety of people, the decision was made at the park level without any input from us before we ever even had an opportunity to join the conversation and say, if this is an issue, this is what we can do. And when we found out that they were anticipating, that they were planning on moving the ticket sales to Durango, we did everything we could to keep them here, to sweeten the pot, and they made that decision. We didn't make it.
Okay.
So, just please,
So
we
it's
are, I will tell you, we are as
And hopefully it'll get
upset
reported
you are.
that it's clear that the NPS is the one responsible for moving ticket sales from
Exactly.
downtown Cortez to downtown
Yes,
Durango.
and so if you would please pass that
Maybe
information
that
on
will
to the people
be
you know.
a headline.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anybody else? Okay. We have no public hearings. We have no unfinished business, so we're going to move on to new business, the 2018 golf course fertilizer bid. Rick?
Honorable Mayor and City Council, here to present the 2018 fertilizer bid, and I would like to introduce Tom Kamrich, our new golf superintendent. He'll be glad to answer any technical questions you might have. The 2018 golf course budget provides $33,000 for the annual purchase of fertilizer. This year, the golf course had some surplus, so they were able to get a little bit of savings out of that. Specifications were drawn up and bids received on March 27th. Council, I'd like to tell you this is a type of bid that we award on an individual basis, so that's why we're recommending 3 different vendors. Golf Enviro, $16,710.75. Wilbur Ellis, $5,566.46, and Target Specialty, $838.50. This represents a budget savings of $9,884.29.
All right, Council, are there any questions on this?
Pretty straightforward.
All right, may I have a motion, please?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to award the 2018 golf course fertilizer bid as follows. Golf and Barrow at the amount of $16,710.75. Wilbur Ellis at the amount of $5,566.46. Target Specialty at the amount of $838.50 for a total award amount of $23,115.71.
Second.
Lucero.
Aye.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Carlson. Aye. Keel.
Aye.
Archibald.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye.
I told him he'd have all kinds of questions.
Yeah.
Is the water turned on for the fairways? Are we watering fairways yet?
Yes, it is. Water's being delivered, and we are pumping out irrigation water.
I'm done, Your Honor. That's all.
Okay.
I have that in my golf advisory board report.
Yeah, I've just ruined it.
There's stuff to say.
And that was it. That was your report, right?
That was happening.
Thank you.
When you report it, I'm going to still be excited, guys.
Well, thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate your,
Good to have you on board.
yes,
Tom.
absolutely.
Glad you're here.
Thanks.
I, who don't play golf, actually watched part of the Masters the other day. And just,
Were you bored?
Pardon?
Were you bored?
Yeah, there was nothing else on. It actually is, it's just, I mean, it was interesting from the perspective of just seeing how beautiful that course is, and of course watching the golfers in their flashy uniforms or clothing was interesting as well. So
It's good, making me feel uncomfortable.
anyway, thank you for coming. The next item is the 20th. Pardon? What?
I said this is becoming a hostile work environment.
Yeah. I think it's hostile for me. 2018 upstream bandwidth bid, Rick.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and City Council, we're at the end of our current contract with Cogent. Cogent is our provider for our bandwidth. We buy it at the Marquette Street POP in Albuquerque, and they hand it off to Fast Track, and they transport it to Cortez. We purchase a full gigabit of bandwidth. This is shared amongst the GovNet users, which are the city, of course, the county, schools, hospital, and TV district. So we all share in that. And now we'll also be using the pilot project for that bandwidth. The current cost is $4,090 a month, which works out to $4.09 a megabit. So we sent out bids and received bids on March 30th. The city received 7 responses to our request from 6 different vendors. All of them are out-of-town vendors. We requested non-reoccurring costs, which is a one-time setup cost, and cost for monthly reoccurring. The low bidder is Visionary Communications, a division of Mammoth Networks. The non-reoccurring cost $500. Monthly reoccurring cost $995, which works out to 99.5 cents per megabit. Quite a savings. That savings would result in about $3,095 per month over the current cost from our Cogent provider. Today, I would add, we had a meeting with the other GovNet users, and they're all on board with this change.
I would guess so. Now, this is the dark fiber you're talking about, right?
This is not dark fiber.
This is not dark fiber. This is something different.
This is upstream.
Okay.
This is our upstream bandwidth internet connectivity.
Okay. All right. Well, it was interesting to see the big difference between what they were offering and what CenturyLink at the high end is offering. So that's great. All right, Council, are there any questions about this? May I have a motion?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to award the 2018 upstream connectivity bid to Visionary Communications at the bid amount of $500 non-recurring and $995 monthly recurring amount, and allow the city manager to sign a 36-month contract for the services.
Second.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Archibald.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye. All right, Rick. The vehicle bid, 2018 vehicle bid.
I took a lesson from Sam the other day.
I was going to say, tonight is the Rick Smith show.
Yeah, I'd like to present the 2018 vehicle bid results. This is a mixture of two funds. The 2018 Equipment Fund provides $88,000 for the purchase of 2 police patrol pickups for Roy and 1 pickup for planning and building. The 2018 Water Fund provides $70,000 for the purchase of 1 half-ton pickup to be used out at the water plant and 1 3/4-ton pickup for public works. Bids were received on April 4th. We received 2 local responses to our request and 2 out-of-town bids. These bids were, as tradition, compared to the Colorado State bid, and we applied a local vendor preference and an estimated delivery charge for the items coming from Denver. So bid item 1 was a full-size 4-wheel drive crew cab police package pickup. The low bidder is Colorado State bid, $30,474.54 each. Bid item 2 is full-size 4-wheel drive crew cab half-ton pickup for planning and building, $27,905.16. Bid item 3, bid item 2 is one water and 1 planning and building. Bid item 3 is 3/4-ton pickup, regular cab with a long bed for water. The low bid is Colorado State bid, $32,560.44. So the above purchases would reflect a cost of $88,854.24 for the equipment fund, and the purchases from the water fund would amount to $60,465.56. So the equipment fund is $854.24 above the budgeted amount. The water fund purchases is $9,534.44 below that budgeted amount. And there are surplus funds in the equipment fund to cover that, and they're also in the budget for the water fund.
All right. Are there any questions from council?
I was just going to ask on the water fund, on the trucks, is there a reason they go to half-ton and 3/4-ton instead of 2 3/4 tons?
The half-ton is going to be used going back and forth to town. It's more just a utility running around back and forth for that one. The 3/4-ton is a crew type vehicle, so it's kind of 2 different uses there. Sir?
Do they have a delivery fee on those, or is that included?
The state bid, we assign a delivery fee.
Yeah, don't we usually use like 500 or something?
Yeah, it's about $1 a mile is kind of what we figure. And like I said, we do apply the local vendor preference to that in our analysis.
And this is the first time I've seen this. We've had the state bid come in low before, but I don't remember us ever having the state bid come in low in every category.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
yeah.
surprised at.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time I was going with the state bid. And they primarily just serve municipalities and counties?
All political subdivisions of the state, including, CDOT,
So they're like a
counties.
wholesaler? Is that what they are, vehicles?
No, they're car dealers up there. They get, Colorado State Purchasing does the bid process,
Okay,
so it varies by,
okay.
Yeah, this could be a big dealership out.
They go to individual dealers and deal with them from the state level.
yeah, for example, Larry H. Miller,
Right.
he'll bid on all these vehicles. He
Gotcha.
might have won the half-ton for that type of unit statewide, is how it's awarded.
That makes sense, okay. Thanks.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
Make a motion awarding 2018 vehicle bids as follow. Bid item 1, 2 units of Colorado State bid, the amount of $30,474.54 each. By item 2, 2 units low bidder, Colorado State bid, at the bid amount of $27,905.16 each. Bid 3, 1 of the units low bidder, Colorado State bid, at the bid amount of $32,560.44 for a grand total of $149,319.80.
Second.
Carlson?
Aye.
Archibald?
Aye.
McLaughlin?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
Keel?
Aye.
Sheik?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we have no draft resolutions or ordinances, no other items of business. At this time, is there anybody in the audience that would like to address council? There is no city attorney's report. Shane?
Yes, Your Honor, just two things. One is quick FYI, the Dolores Water Conservancy District is having a public meeting to discuss mussels, like quagga, zebra infestation. It'll be held tomorrow night at the Cortez Conference Center at 7 p.m. If you're so inclined. And then just as a reminder, we have the new council orientation set for next Tuesday, the 17th. All of the newly electeds that are taking the tour were okay with the 4 p.m. start. So we're going to give them a tour of city facilities at 4, and then we're going to try to meet at the police department at 5:30, and we'll have a meal and then just do the kind of normal orientation. So, in the past, I think like we've had our outgoing council members, they've come and try to pass on some sage advice, and so I would say everybody on council is welcome to come. But it's really targeted for our newly elected folks. But I think clearly that staff can tell them, Rick can say this is what I do, Linda can say this is what I do, but none of us can say this is what it's like to be on city council. So I hope that we have what I would consider to be our salty dogs in the group show up and impart any wisdom as well. So that'll be Tuesday at 5:30, unless you want to go on the tour as well. The water plant is great. If you can't go there enough. So.
Do they give free water?
No, but we sell it 3 gallons for a penny, so
okay.
it'll fill
And
free.
bring your own container?
Yeah, bring your own penny and container.
Okay. All right. Council committee reports.
March 28th, Golf Advisory Board met again. First meeting since October. Welcomed our new super, Tom Crammel. I'm glad to have him here. And got an thorough update from him already, so that was appreciative. April 7th, there was a tournament. Didn't get any results. I don't know. Did you play in that best ball?
The tournament, it wasn't a best ball. It was a 4-person team, and they take the 2 best scores of the team, for each hole, and then you get paired up with a Masters person or 2 Masters people. So, yeah, it was. I think Linda placed, right? I saw her name on something. It was totally rigged, obviously. If I didn't walk away.
Sandbaggers, I know. Okay, moving on. April 17th, the girls' high school tournament's going to be here, and according to our rep, who Dimry Plu is our kid rep, our young person rep from the school. She said there's going to be. She told me today. They're expecting like 80 girls, and then a few of those teams are going to actually, since the ones from New Mexico, the boys play in the spring, they're going to bring their boys teams as well and have another little mini tournament with the boys. So I think you can expect quite a few people out at the course on the 17th. So that's exciting, though. That's a great turnout. It's huge.
We want them rolling at a 12, so let's get it going.
MVI, we talked about the water. I believe it went back on April 2nd. Is that correct?
Stock run started on March 26th.
March 26th, and then
they never turned it off. It went straight through.
Okay, so got full water out there. Welcome our new mechanic, Randy Curtis, who I believe came over from
General Services.
General Services.
Yeah, Dean told him.
Yeah, so welcome him out there. Still searching, I imagine, for a full-time and seasonal workers, is that correct?
We're interviewing for seasonal workers for 4 more positions this week, Thursday, and we're still looking for that senior individual.
Gotcha. The Women's Association, Mary Engelhart resigned, so I know they're in the process of finding someone new for that. I think she just decided to spend more time in Arizona, and wish her good luck. Talked briefly about more water storage. Nothing formal, just a discussion on the possibilities of more water storage in the future. Access on the east side of the golf course seems to be coming along really well. I think we're getting closer and closer to our obligations on our side of the fence. That's it.
Right.
And Tice, you know what, one suggestion I gave to Dean on the water storage, instead of trying to create, to widen out the water, I think we got to look at just going deeper, just getting in the wintertime and just, mucking it out. We could actually create a lot more water storage on the course without actually creating more water hazards. I think we could just go deeper. I mean, we have to check with our legal availability to do that. But I think going, because in a lot of those places, when we drain that water out, it's not really that deep. So
yeah, it was a real informal discussion.
Yeah.
Mr. Kramlich brought up some really good points about usage as well. So, definitely a lot of different things to look at when we're talking about more water storage and, what is really necessary. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, it was really informal. No decisions were made, and just something to start thinking about. To what extent that plays out, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, good. Well, we do have, just while I'm on the site, we do have the project water, and we've got a lot of project water. So I think what the city has is great water at it. If we can look at ways of piping some of that, if we did get more storage, because, I think it'd be great if we never put a drop of treated water on that course. And right now we do have kind of before the stock run and then after it's over, depending on the weather, they need to water the greens and keep them alive. So I think anything we can do to facilitate getting raw water there longer season, it's better for everybody.
All right. Are there any other committee reports? Okay. The workshop was a busy one this evening. We spent some time with Chris Burkett, who's going to serve as our interim city manager once Shane departs. We talked about salary. We discussed what our expectations are as far as projects that he's going to focus on and things that he really needs to be aware of and attentive to. And Mike is looking into whether we want to hire him as an independent contractor or actually hire him as the interim manager. His services and the amount of time he spends on the job will be the same regardless of how that contract is set up. So we're looking forward to having Chris on board, and are really appreciative of his willingness to do this. We had an excellent youth commission discussion. Peyton did a really nice job of surveying a number of communities about their youth commissions and how they worked and how many kids are involved and the amount of staff time required, some of the projects they work on, budgeting, all of those kinds of things. And so she set up an excellent spreadsheet for us to look at, and is actually going to take the lead on helping the city get this started. She'll be contacting, well, they've already contacted schools in the area, but come this spring, which actually is here now, I guess, seeing about getting some kids on board so that we can begin the program and have it ready to go in the fall. We had an update on Rural Philanthropy Days. We did have a request by RPD for a donation from the city. And it is going to be here in Cortez this year. It was in Pagosa Springs 4 years ago. The city is providing most of the meeting spaces for this 3-day event beginning Wednesday. Actually, the last day will be out at the out of the fairgrounds. But in addition to what we're providing in facilities and staff support, the city is also making a $2,500 donation and feels that we'll get a good return on that investment. So we then followed up with quite a discussion with members of the Bridge Shelter Board and their director, Lori Knudsen. There is a strong possibility that, there is a buyer, a potential buyer for that building, and although they're not sure at this point of exactly what the timeline is, there is the possibility that the purchaser may want to be able to move into the facility about the time, a little bit before when the bridge would need it, which means that basically the bridge would be without a home probably for the entire season next year, unless we can find some other location. We've got some issues that make it kind of a sticky situation in the fact that most of these people are on foot, and so it needs to be in a location where they can actually get there safely, and when they leave safely. There needs to be adequate restroom and showering facilities, and we just, our community just doesn't have a lot of those, and so it's going to take some really creative, out-of-the-box thinking, I think, in order to be able to address that. I think probably the most important thing that came out of this discussion tonight was the realization or the expression that this is not a city problem. It's not the bridge it's not just the bridge's problem. This is a community problem, and we all are going to have to be able to come together, city, county, and community at large, houses of worship, to see what we can do, because I certainly cannot imagine there's a single person in this community that wants to have somebody die in our park because they didn't have a warm place to sleep at night coming this winter. So anyway, Shane is going to touch base and just let the commission know that the Bridge Board would like to be put on Monday's meeting, and we'll see what happens. And I think that was everything. So, is there anything else for the good of the city?
It's all good. Let's go home.
This is the last time you get to say that.
Last time I get to say that.
This is the last time that Bob and Shauna will be sitting up here.
We'll sit up here for the consent agenda.
And then you can leave.
Got a whole box of stuff.
Yeah, I think 2 and 3.
I
can't remember which one's first.
I'm gonna still send you the agenda.